So I've got a little bit of time after work tonight to work on the barn, and I thought I'd spend it working on the windows here. I already built a couple windows, and I got them right here. I'll show you. Built these for the opening there, and I like them, but I built them way too heavy. I don't know what I was thinking. I used like 3/16 on most of it, and they're like probably like 50 pounds or something. I just don't think I want all that weight on the door permanently. So I'm going to rebuild them using some lighter stuff and make them a lot simpler. And then I'll use these probably somewhere in the barn, just decoration. But I like that style. I'm going to do something pretty similar to that with the cross in the middle. But I've got some thinner metal, and I think I make it a lot better and lighter and more practical. So I'm going to take some measurements on the opening, and then I'm going to up to the shop and start working on them. So this is what I'm going to use for the next windows. It's a 1/8 inch by 2 inch angle. This is all 3/16. And I brought this old window up, take some measurements off of it. So I think what I'm going to do first is build the frame around the outside. So I'm going to take some measurements off this window, cut these at 45s, and then lay them out on the table here before welding it. I got my pieces cut out. I think they're all pretty close despite the awkward angle. Had to measure on the inside here. Made it a little tougher, but wasn't too bad. And now I think I'll go ahead and lay it out on the table here, clamp it down, make sure I got good 90s in all the corners before grabbing my TIG welder over there. I think I'll go around and put a couple tacks on each corner just to make sure it all kind of stays in place, and then come back through and weld it solid. Okay, got it all tacked. Now I think I'm gonna unclamp it and flip it over, and then I can weld the front side. Okay, got it all welded. It turned out decent. Manageable. It's a nice frame for me. So now I need to cut off some of the reveal. I think on my other window I just have 1 inch, and this is 2 inches. So I'm going to snap a line around it, draw a line around it, and then maybe use the angle grinder or maybe the plasma. I'm not sure yet which. Figure that out in a second. Decided to go with the plasma. I clamped this piece right here, that's a straight edge, as a guide, and I'll just run the tip along the edge. And so I drew my lines, marked them at 1 inch, and then I kind of just eyeball it. I know it's like about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little more, to where it cuts when you run it along the edge. And so I kind of cut a little bit and check it, and then adjust it from there. And that's usually close enough for something like this. Happy with that? Okay, you got all 4 sides cut. Now I think I'll throw it to the vise and clean the edges up a little bit with the angle grinder. Gonna use a grinding wheel to knock off the big stuff, and then I'll switch over to a flap disc to finish it, make it a little smoother. Okay, got the edges all cleaned up, looking nice. I think I'm just about ready to call it a day, getting a little worn out. But I thought I'd take it home with me and throw it up in the window and see how it fits, see if it fits, see if I need to tweak it at all. I know the window's not perfectly square, the cutout, so I want to check all those things. All right, let's see what we got. That's gonna work pretty good. I'll take you around to the other side so we can look at the gap, see if we got pretty close. Whew, it's pretty here tonight. Sun going down over the wheat. Irrigation going on the beans. Might be too dark, I don't know, but it's pretty tight fit. The only problem is that the outside of the door is not all that even, so some places you have to press in a little bit to get it to sit tight. I think that's gonna work. I think when I screw it in, it'll suck it in. Only thing I have to think about and take into consideration is that when parts of it get sucked in flush with the door, that I still need to have the plane for the window nice and square all the way around. I don't want the window having to try to bend or anything. So that would obviously break and not be good. But I think I'll go ahead and make the second one tomorrow night, and then maybe even, depending on how much time I have, make some progress on the pane around the window too. Got my frames done. I think what I'm going to do next is drill and countersink the holes for the screws. I'm going to put them on the outside of the window, going around the outside. I know it's not how you typically do it. You probably want them on the inside, but I think this will be a little easier, and I think it'll look all right. So I'm going to go drill some holes the same diameter as the screw, and then I'll get a bigger bit and countersink them so they're flush with the outside of the frame. Got those all drilled, and now I've been trying to figure out the best way to do the inlay. And I think what I'm going to do is to cut all the pieces. I'm using 1-inch strip, about 1/8 inch metal over there. And I'm going to cut all the pieces to length, lay them down in here, so make sure it fits, and then kind of tack them together. And then I'll get a spacer, because I want the inlay kind of centered on the frame here. I'll get a spacer underneath it, and then I can clamp it all down, and it should be all at the right height. It's gonna be hard because I need to get it all on the same plane. Like, I don't want one side higher than the other, because then the glass is gonna get set up against it flush. So I want to make sure it's all nice and flat and where it needs to be. So I'm going to take some measurements and cut some pieces and lay it in here, and then tack it up. Got all the pieces cut out. Just have them laid in there right now. So what I'm going to do, I think, is just tack them in place where they are. So that way I'll know they'll fit inside the frame. And then I'll take the frame away, weld them up, and then space them out like I was talking about after they're welded. Let's get to it. Okay, they're welded solid now. I'm a little worried about them warping when I weld them, but I think I'll just be able to pound them back down on the flat table if that happens. Cool. Made some good progress tonight. It looks something like that. I'm gonna call it a night here though. Getting a little worn out. But I think tomorrow night, I have some more time to work on it tomorrow night. I'll be able to get those probably finished up. Tomorrow's Friday night, and then hopefully Monday I can take them into town and have some glass cut out for them. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Just keep plugging away and I think I'm just about there. I cut out some 1-inch spacers. There's 1-inch square tubing. And what I'm going to do is clamp the frame down to the table, then put the spacers on the inside, and then put the insert on top of the spacers, and then just clamp all the way around. Make sure that the frame's clamped down tight and the insert's clamped down. I brought a bunch of clamps, so I'm going to work on getting it nice and flush. Got it all clamped. This thing's definitely not moving. Now I'm gonna grab my welder, get it set up, and then just start tacking. Put a bunch of tacks going around, and then I'll probably start welding more and more of it. And then eventually I want to have the whole inside welded solid. Okay, I got tacks all the way around it, about every 2 inches or so, and I'm fairly confident sitting down flush where I want it now. So I'm going to start putting some bigger beads on it, maybe like 1 inch long, kind of spread it out around, and then I'll lastly come in and weld it solid. Okay, let's pull all these clamps off, and then I can weld it up in a lot better position, nothing in the way. There we go. Got it welded all the way around. So now I'm just going to power through the other one, get it caught up to this one, and then I'll work on cleaning up the face of it a little bit. Okay, I got them all welded up. I brought them back down here to my barn. I'm going to use the angle grinder and wire brush to clean off the splatter. And then I'll put some clear coat on them, and then they'll be ready for some glass. All right, let's give it some clear coat. Using Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover Matte Clear. Just some stuff I bought at Home Depot. Hope it lasts all right. It's getting kind of late here, dark. But I've been dying to see how these windows look in there. So I think I'm going to throw them in tonight. I don't think it'll take too long. I'm just going to drill out the holes for the screws and then screw it in. I know on regular windows you'd put some caulk on the backside, but I decided not to mess with that because I mean none of the doors are airtight or watertight, and it's just for the barn. So I'm just going to screw it directly into the wood and then leave it at that. Making sure I can't drill all the way through the door, recess the bed in there a little bit more. I'm using some 1.5" sheet metal stainless screws. Got it all screwed in there. When I screwed it in, it kind of pulled the outsides out a little bit, and now the inside piece has some pretty bad bow to it. So I think we'll have to redo that. I'll probably have to cut it out of there and then make it a little bit shorter on all the sides and then weld it back in. Kind of a bummer. I didn't really think about that happening. But that's fixable. Oh well. So I'm gonna jump on another one and get it done now. Guessing it'll be the same way. There we go. That side didn't bow out like the other side did, luckily. Just a tiny bit, but I think I can live with it. So I'll have to redo that side tomorrow. I'll bring my welder down here and cut it out of there. But yeah, I really like the way they look. I got some glass from town today. Had some tempered glass cut and picked that up. So if all goes to plan, maybe tomorrow I can throw it in there. Alright, I think I'm ready to throw the glass in there. Yesterday I cut the cross on the inside and re-welded it, and it kind of fixed that up. It's a lot tighter now. They're not popping out like they were anymore. It's a lot better. And then I also made a bunch of these little tabs to have some angle. I put a slot in here, and then on the inside I'll put some self-tapping screws into the window frame, and then these will push up against the glass pretty tight, and then I can tighten the screws back down. I think it'll hold it. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully it'll work. I got all my holes marked and punched, and now I'm going to drill them out. This is the glass that I went with. It's a 1/4 inch tempered, and it's slightly tinted. I thought that would look decent in the door. I don't really like working with glass. It makes me nervous. Alright, got 2 in there. It's not going anywhere now. Now I can breathe more easily. Using some self-tapping hex head screws here. They're working good. Nice. I love it. Okay, just take the stickers off, clean the backside, and then I gotta throw on one more piece of hardware down here on the handle. There's a cover that goes over the right side. And then I think I'm done. Can't believe I'm saying that. I'm sure they won't stay clean long in this barn out here, but might as well start with them clean, I guess. Getting a little bit of rain through here. I love it. About time. I'll show you the tabs up a little closer. Just put a slot in the bottom, and then I push them up tight, and then I use the self-tapping screws to hold it down there. These windows obviously wouldn't work in a house. They're not going to be watertight or airtight. But I thought they worked great in the barn out here like this, and that'd be fun to make my own windows versus buying some. I hope to build a cover over the doors eventually too, so they'll be out of the weather, and I think they'll stay dry. I'm sure the metal will rust over time. I put a bunch of clear coat on it, but I'm sure it won't hold up forever. But even if it does start rusting, I think it'll still look pretty neat on the barn. Here's my cover I got to put on. It'll make it match the other side. There we go. Man, I'm glad those are done. Yeah, that was kind of a intimidating project, especially for my first set of doors. Those are some pretty hard ones, I think. Which caused me to put them off, so glad I finally jumped in and start making little bits of progress here and there, and now I'm finally done with them. I think the glass turned out great. I'm glad I got the tinted stuff. And I think my favorite part is the handles. That was my first blacksmithing project, and I think they really add a lot to the doors. I'm excited to do more of that kind of stuff. But I also learned a lot of things I do different. A ton of things I do different. But I can't complain too much. I'm pretty happy with them. So now, just need to build some big doors over there. Get this place sealed up before the winter comes. Alright. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, GoPro camera. Stay back. Don't knock you over.
You happy with yourself?